Welcome to Torah Smash, the podcast for nerdy Jews, where our lives of Jewish learning collide with our love of nerd culture. In each episode, we discuss what we lovingly call a Torah Smash, which we have defined as a beautiful collision of one thing from the world of Judaism with another from nerd culture. I am RDY, and joining me today are...
Barack Malkin.
Ethan Lane Miller.
It's so good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. And good to hear you, listener.
Good to hear you, listeners, or for you to hear us. And
don't think about
it.
Don't think
about
right.
it. When we say something wrong and you yell at us, we totally hear it, but we keep rolling anyway. Coming off of our 100th episode, I've actually heard from a lot of listeners who really enjoyed it and had fun listening to us, listen to ourselves. Did you guys have the same thing?
Yeah, I had a few people reach out. Absolutely.
I did not, but I will talk to some people about it this week.
Well, I was thinking about the 100th episode, and now we're on 101. So I wanted to get to some basics of Judaism, a little Judaism 101. And what do I think of when I think of the basics are what are known as the 10 Commandments, and calling it that kind of makes my skin crawl a little bit. In Hebrew, they're called Aseret Hadibrot, which means the 10 utterances, the 10 spoken things. They are 10 of the 613 commandments, and they were the ones that were spoken to all of the Israelites from God to Moses on Mount Sinai, and with all the Israelites listening. And they had been fasting so that they could be ready for this experience. And at the end of the 10 Commandments, they were like, we can't handle anymore. Moses, you go up and get the rest. And a lot of people consider these the basics.
The missing commandments, 11 through 15.
Yes, 11 through the ones that Mel Brooks dropped.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm sure we can, with all of the sound clips we've been imagining, we can get a little Mel Brooks going, I give you the 10 commandments.
Yes.
So, that there are, as Jewish educators, I know the two of you know that there are 613 commandments. And as listeners, I hope that people have heard of that before, but you find very often, if you ask people how many commandments are in the Torah, they will say 10. And that's because these are the basic ones. So top 10 commandments, just running through them. Now, also I should note, the way Jews count them is different from the way Christians count them. So I won't go into all of the differences, but if you are not Jewish and you're listening to this and you're saying, hey, RDY, you got this wrong. I didn't. I got it different. So the first commandment
Hold on, will you do this as like a Letterman top 10 list?
Well, yeah, because you called it. You called that's amazing.
Yes.
You called them the top 10, and I've never heard them called the top 10 commandments. And so, I don't know if I'd call these my favorites.
No, they're not favorites. And there are some, look, it's arguable that 5 of them are probably the easiest in the world because all you have to do is just not do anything.
Mm-hmm. I am, Ethan, now I am wishing that he set this up as like a Letterman and he'd have like a boomer joke type thing for each one.
Do you want me to go backwards? Number 10.
You should do whatever you want to do.
Let's see how it sounds backwards.
Okay.
Yeah, but do it do it very late night.
You got it. Commandment number 10. You shall not covet. Commandment. It's weird that you laughed at covet. Like, oh, how ridiculous. We're not going to covet? No way.
Take my wife, please.
I'd like to. I've been coveting her.
Yeah.
God.
Wait. Number 9. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor.
Hey, what kind of shoes do grizzlies wear?
Bare feet.
Yeah, none. They have bare feet.
What do you call a grizzly with no teeth?
Gummy bear.
Number 8. You shall not steal. Number 7, you shall not commit adultery. Number 6, you shall not murder. And I would like
murder. I hardly knew her.
Oh God. Number 5, honor your father and your mother.
Mother, I hardly knew her.
Oh, God.
Ready?
What? I have another. Father, I hardly knew her.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you tonight?
We're doing the late night.
Oh my God. Late night with Torah Smash. Where am
Oh,
I?
I kind of like that.
Number 4. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Later to be changed to keep the Sabbath and keep it holy.
Remember, I hardly knew her.
Oh my God.
Yep. Ethan is just nodding along at this point. Go ahead.
Number 3. You shall not swear falsely by the name of the eternal your God.
The eternal God, I hardly knew him.
Number 2. No idols. And number 1 commandment of the top 10 is
Drum roll.
I am Adonai your God, which is not really much of a commandment, but it's definitely a base.
Right.
Counting backwards was not easy.
That was a different perspective. I don't think the jokes helped me
I
understand them better.
Definitely distracted me.
Yeah.
I would not say they contributed in a positive manner.
Manner, I hardly knew her.
Oh my
no.
We're going to spend the rest of the podcast avoiding words that end in ER.
Sure.
Ethan Lane Miller.
Miller, I hardly knew her.
Hardly knew her.
Okay. These are the 10 commandments that were spoken aloud to the Israelites on Mount Sinai in reverse order. However they're numbered, however you're used to them.
Order, I hardly knew her.
Oh, goodness.
Who's editing this episode?
Not me.
It might have to be me now.
However we number them, whatever we think of them, these are the ones that get posted on courthouse lawns. These are the ones that people argue should be in front of every school. I personally disagree, but that's not the purpose of this particular episode. But these are the basics. If you're going to know any of the laws of Torah, you're going to know these 10. So this is Torah 101 for episode 101.
Oh, nice.
What are the things that you think are 101 in your areas of nerddom?
Oh, you're doing an Ethan. I had ideas for a
I'm doing an
smash.
Ethan episode.
Oh, I was
See,
so
what's-
excited.
What's funny is I exhaled and I was like, oh, this sounds fun.
I thought I was so ready of like Isaac Asimov's 3 Laws of Robotics.
Oh, love
Like,
it.
I was really ready for some basic law structure in nerddom, and yeah. Okay, so what was your question again?
But you know what? The question was, what are the things in your areas of nerddom expertise that are 101, that are the basics that people need to know to get into that that area? And Isaac Asimov's Laws of Robotics is a perfect example. I love that.
Yeah, I think that would qualify under this in terms of for any cyborg related movie, a lot of them utilize those as a basic primary function for how they characterize their robot AI type characters, the ones that are learning to be. And so while they may not always run through those 3 laws of robotics, they mostly utilize them as a basic outline. Yeah.
Yeah. And if we hear about the laws of robotics or whatever its equivalent is in any particular property, we know that they're going to be broken.
Yeah.
I'm thinking right now of Megan, which is an awful movie, but very entertaining.
So you're not necessarily talking about like we're diving deeper than like a franchise. We're talking about like the fundamental building blocks.
It could be either. I have a few things in my
agree.
mind for Star Trek that people would need. Like, if you're going to watch Star Trek, what are the concepts you need to understand? And I think there's a few core principles. We did one of them in one of our episodes. The primary, what is it?
The prime directive.
Yeah, prime directive is something that they have to know. Yeah.
Yeah, and similar to the rules of robotics, when people bring up the prime directive, it's usually because someone has broken it or is about to break it.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
good one.
it's the classic dramatic rule. If you see a gun in Act 1, someone's going to use it by Act 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
also
I think of like Obi-Wan's speech about the Force in A New Hope. Like that's real nerd 101.
Yeah, I like that. And I think what's interesting is that like the 201 is probably Yoda's instructions about it in Empire. No? Yes?
Oh, sorry, I was nodding yes, which works
Oh,
very well
sorry.
on this audio medium.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Star Trek, there is the Prime Directive, but I almost feel like, you almost got to go like there's another step there
Hmm.
where it's almost like you have to actually go out of universe for Star Trek and
Mm.
explain Star Trek came out in the 60s as an allegory for America, and that like that's where I think you start.
I
Oh,
didn't know
interesting.
that. That I learned that just now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you
Please,
even been watching,
please
RDY?
not Star Trek.
No, hold
Um,
on. Brock, he just said, please explain. This is
Okay,
my
okay.
moment.
Okay.
So, Gene Roddenberry used the original Star Trek as a pun intended vessel for social commentary.
okay.
And so he very intentionally cast a diverse bridge crew that included a Black woman in a position of leadership. In the second season, they brought on a character who had a Beatles haircut to appeal to people, but also intentionally made him Russian with a Russian accent during the Cold War.
Wow.
One of the most iconic episodes of the original series had the crew going to a planet of, and it's very subtle. They are literally one half of their body is white and one half is black, and they
Oh,
are at war with the people on the planet who are half white and half black, but on the opposite sides.
oh, it's like the star-bellied Sneetches from Dr. Seuss.
Sure. But the point is, it was his way of dealing, of doing these social commentary sort of things. And so I feel like 101, which a lot of Star Trek, not a lot, too many Star Trek fans miss is, when people are like, when did Star Trek get woke? The answer is it was always woke.
That is
Yeah.
so cool.
You're making me want to go back. I think I've gotten about halfway through the original series and I stopped at some point. And I watched that episodes of the half and half black and white people, and I want to go now. I want to go back and finish the series. I think I'll
There
do
you
that.
got it. There you go. You got to
Yeah.
finish your 101 course.
Yeah. I was gonna say the Kobayashi Maru is pretty core to some of.
I think that's
You think it's 201?
not, that's maybe even 301. Like
I-
that's
But I think the concept for at least the original series of showing that this captain follows the rules to a point, knowing that you have to step outside of those at sometimes in order to do the right thing. And so
Yeah.
that's why I figure like it's a basic piece of it. But
That's actually a great metaphor for Torah itself, because we refer to them as laws. And we humans are ingrained with believing that laws are immutable and that when there is a law, we must follow the law to the letter of the law. But in Torah, the word Torah itself does not mean law, it means guide. It shares a similar etymology with more or mora, which are the words for a male or female teacher. So it's a guide. And yes, there are rules because you need rules when you're being guided. But if you know the rules well enough, you can know when to break them. But there are certain ones that should never, ever be broken, like don't murder. Don't break that, please, ever, ever, ever. And that's an intentional translation, don't murder. The word lo tirtzach is the Hebrew. Do not murder is different from lo ta'arog, which is do not kill. Because killing is when if you're not a vegetarian, you've killed to eat. If you're a warrior, you have killed in battle. And do not kill is definitely not what this means. But do not murder is intentional and it's for nefarious purpose.
So I am currently Googling Prime Directive violations by Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, let's see. Oh, there's a lot here.
Well, you
Uh,
enjoy that, Ethan.
no, hold on.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
I'll give a very surprising thing. A very surprising answer is it's not necessarily saying that the captain is responsible in the series. Voyager has the most clear prime directive violations.
Is that your favorite?
No.
My favorite.
And like you cannot have drama if there's not conflict. And what greater conflict is there than a starship captain needing to break a prime directive? What
Yeah.
and especially what leads to that?
Conflict drives narrative.
100%.
Can I move us into games?
Yeah.
I was literally Barack. I was about to push us there. Go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and listeners, Barack is wearing one of the funniest gaming shirts I've ever seen, but it's really long to read, so you'll just have to trust us.
Barack remembered to wear a shirt today.
Thank you. That what an image that gives to the listeners for every other 100 episodes. Thank you.
Look, all we'll say is we're recording from the waist up.
That's true. We could be in our Zoom mullets.
I don't even know what that means. I'm gonna keep going.
Business on top, party on the bottom.
So I'm gonna combine video games and board games together because I think some of the
Awesome.
core pieces of this are similar.
Mm-hmm.
One, I'll say like core rule is to be present, right? And so when you're playing board games, keep your phone away. When you are playing video games, be aware of your surroundings if you're doing a sandbox type game. Yeah, or if you're playing with other people in both situations, right? Being mindful of where they are in that space.
Mm-hmm.
Another basic for them, I would say, is follow the rules. And as we all learned from Bluey from the Shadowlands episode, listeners, you know what I'm talking about. The reason we have rules is because rules make it fun, right? And so when you're playing a video game, play that boring orientation level because that's going to teach you the rules you need to know as you go through it. And many games, Mario was famous for this. Many games build their first level as a way for you to slowly learn the mechanics, quote, the laws of the game as you play it. And when you're at a board game, choose an easier one to start with for your friends or for you, and watch a video or read the rule book. But that's what really is going to make it fun is if you know all the aspects of it going into it. Um,
And it's even more fun if you can remember all the aspects as you play, which is my struggle.
no, no. Yeah, and I was talking to my wife and I were having this conversation this morning in terms of like the 101 of board games,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have like a coffee table type book that I got as a gift, and my kids like to come in and have me open and read about a specific game every now and then. And it has a chapter called Contemporary Classics, and it doesn't have Monopoly, it doesn't have Risk, it doesn't have Trivial Pursuit, right?
Well, those aren't contemporary classics, those are classics.
Right, right. Those are classics. And here's the reason I'm differentiating them in terms of 101. Don't start with Monopoly and Risk as your games. There's things that modern board games have fixed from those older ones. They one rarely had an end game trigger outside of player activity, right? So there's not certain number of rounds with the card decks run out. Monopoly and Trivial Pursuit and Risk, all of them really rely on the players to end the game,
Which is why they take forever.
which is why they take forever.
Yes.
Trivial Pursuit is a rough game for people because it's a game that requires knowledge outside of the game itself, which, good games don't require that. You can just sit down and just have everything that you need there instead of having
Well,
other knowledge.
Jeopardy's a great game.
Yes, there are people that do like trivia. I totally hear that, but I would put those in a different class than board games. And so Trivial Pursuit is a trivia game, but I think growing up it was touted as a board game, and it's not
It's a
as
trivia
good.
game in board game format.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
but in Monopoly, the issue with Monopoly is if you got ahead early on in the game, you most frequently stayed ahead for the rest of the game, no matter how long it took. And
Yeah, and
so
you were stuck waiting for the roll where you finally landed on the yeah.
yeah, and so
Which was exactly the point of Monopoly. The game was
yes.
invented to show you how bad monopolies
Yeah,
are.
yeah. So, right, modern board games have, end game triggers that are built in, regardless of how or who is playing.
Mhm.
They have, rules based specifically for the game itself. They have catch-up mechanics built in, so that if somebody's ahead in round one or two, or even halfway through the game that they feel ahead, it doesn't mean that they're going to be the winner in the end of the game. Like, it keeps it exciting. And so I'm gonna throw out a few games that I think are, if you're looking to get into modern board games, these are the 101s. Right?
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just doing it off the top of my head. A few games that I think are the 101 for board games, if you want to get into them today.
Yeah.
Flip 7 is a really easy, basic card game. Just push your luck trying to get to 200 points without busting. Sort of like if you like card games like Blackjack. This is a great version of that.
I do.
As much hate as Settlers of Catan gets, I would say Settlers of Catan is a really great resource management. Nowadays, you will probably just see them on the shelf with the title Catan, but
It's a terrific game.
Yeah.
yeah,
Why does it get hate?
I think it gets hate because it's one of the earlier versions of modern contemporary classics, and there's a huge culture of people who just, found that and then played all the versions or just play that. And so I know that there are people out there who in their house are like, hey, come over for board games. And you go over and they have 100 games on the shelf and they're all different types of Catan. And so there's a hate for that of like, it feels like the people are gatekeeping when they give hate to Catan.
Oh, totally. Okay, I'm glad that you said that because I think they're not hating I think they're not hating the game so much
Yeah.
as, hating someone who obsesses over the game.
Yeah. Another great resource management, and this one really was a contemporary that added in what I'll say is like personalized victory goals, is Ticket to Ride.
Oh, I love Ticket to Ride.
Good
Right?
one. Good
Very
one.
easy, basic. If you want a good cooperative game, which we did not have growing up, nobody knew how to play together growing up. It was always win, win, win.
Not until the that 70s book came out, like Games for Everyone or something like that. With that there was like all of these outdoor games with no winner.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's fun. But Pandemic is a great cooperative game. So,
Great game.
and
Good
and that's
picks.
not a very long one. And a fun fact, if you're interested in more about this, the person who made Pandemic, and it was a great big hit, got bigger during COVID because pandemic. And the company was like, "Hey, this is great, but we can't sell this to kids. Can you do this again and make it for kids?" So if you have kids and you don't want to play a game about viral diseases destroying the population, you could play his next series of games where there are things like Forbidden Desert, Forbidden Island, Forbidden
Oh yeah.
Jungle. Yeah, so it's the
Forbidden
same.
Island is great.
It's the same core mechanisms as Pandemic, the same structure. So those are great cooperative games. Tile placement got big, and so Carcassonne was the game that introduced the world to the word meeple. Um,
Oh.
yeah, and so if you haven't played
Okay.
Carcassonne, that's a very basic tile placement and worker placement. You use your miniature people, your meeple, to claim points on the map. And then the last 101 game that I will introduce for people is Dominion, which was the first game that did deck building, which is where you
Mm.
use cards to buy more cards to get more powerful hands to play cards later on. And so,
There was a stretch in college where my friends and I played a lot of Dominion.
yeah.
Hmm.
A
There,
lot.
and so I would say if we're talking 101, those are great starters because if you start on those games, most other games contain the basic mechanics that those games introduced. And so when you understand those, you can understand many, many more games, the thousands and thousands of games that come out every year, and you'll be able to play a lot more. But those, I
That's
think,
awesome.
introduce a lot of stuff. Those are the 101s for board gaming.
Thank you so much. That's
Yeah.
actually like I'm like ready to take notes.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you're talking specifically about board games as opposed to like a tabletop game like Magic the Gathering, which was my two games in college were Magic the Gathering and Euchre. For folks who are not Midwesterners, euchre is a card game that uses nine through ace, and four people play, and it's a trump game with trick collecting. So trump means a suit that is better than all suits. It does not mean anything political.
Yeah, I didn't introduce trick-taking games. There's a lot of older is Spades is another trick-taking game, I think.
Spades,
Right, so there's a
hearts,
lot of classic trick-taking games that
bridge.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised you didn't bring up any explicit like dice rolling sort of mechanics.
I almost threw out either King of Tokyo or Dice Throne are essentially Battle Yahtzee, both of them.
Yeah, King of Tokyo is great.
Yeah, they're both very I like Dice Throne more than King of Tokyo because King of Tokyo has a bit of the issue that Monopoly has where if you get ahead and if you're behind, it's really hard to come back from that if somebody else is getting all the powerful cards.
Okay.
And so Dice Throne is a much better back and forth. It can be, two players and up, but that is a beautiful dice rolling game. But dice rolling, many games use dice in so many different ways that I didn't throw out dice rolling as a core mechanic because you don't have to, one, you don't have to learn how to roll dice to use them. And so many games use dice differently that
Mhm.
that's why I didn't initially include them on my list.
Yeah, and I keep getting in my head, I'm thinking of all of these games that you and I have played on Board Game
Yeah.
Arena and that I've played with other people on Board Game Arena that I want to talk about, and then I'm thinking it's going to take us away. But
Mhm.
but yeah, that these are great one-on-one suggestions. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I
Um,
also can I also I'm gonna non-game related. So video games and board games. I think the other piece is a core element is just make sure you're having fun.
mm,
Is that the point of playing these games, and people may disagree for video game purposes, but the point of playing games is to have fun. It's not to be the best and to win every time. It is to enjoy yourself. And so I will urge you that when you go to play a board game, yeah, try to get a lot of points, try to get the most points, but it's not about winning. It's about the social connections and the relationships and the fun that the memories that you're making.
yeah.
That's really a core piece of the gaming piece. Yeah.
I came into the office this morning kind of bouncing. I was just had a really great evening playing Dungeons and Dragons with my group, and the assistant in the rabbinic office said, "Oh, you're happy this morning," and I said, "Yeah, I had a really great Dungeons and Dragons session last night." And she said, "Oh, what, I've never really played. Like, what's that like?" And I said, and my 101 intro to D&D for her was, you're creating a story. And as the DM, I play the narrator and all of the bad guys. And as the players, they play the good guys. And where we're creating a story together, and it's a choose your own adventure kind of story, except if they say they're going to do something, it doesn't automatically happen. We roll dice to see if it happens. But other than that, it's just improv and telling a story. I'm having a great adventure together. And
Good,
she said,
real
"Oh
good
my gosh,
description.
I think I could play a game like that."
Amazing. That's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was my 101 for
Yeah.
D&D.
I think you did great.
Thanks. I've been playing almost as long as it's been around.
I'm trying to think if there's movies 101. Right?
Ooh.
That's like I don't know, like are there things that I would tell people you've got to start with this, right? If they're not big movie watchers, what are the like all-in wins that you're not going to have any questionable things that they're going to come back and be like, I don't know if I like movies after seeing that.
Wow. That's so personal. I think it's almost easier to say like what's the first movie you should watch if you want to get into the Avengers storyline.
Sure.
Because it's definitely not the original Fantastic Four, and it's definitely not the Incredible Hulk, even though
You know what
even though Nick Fury's at the end.
I might say a 101 for if you're looking to get into watching. I don't know who doesn't watch movies. I mean, I know they're out there. If you've never watched a movie, go watch it in a theater. Grab a
Oh
pop,
yeah.
get a popcorn, go with a friend, sit down, and no interruptions facing a screen. and just immersed in that sound and visual. That's the 101 for
The
movies.
you're saying it's the experience.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's what pulls my children do not like movies. And I think what
Mm.
pulls my wife and me into the movie experience from our couch is knowing what it was like in the theater and with the popcorn and the soda and holding hands with the person you're involved with and just kind of enjoying that time, laughing in a crowd, getting startled in a crowd. That is movie 101, Barack. Great call.
Yeah.
What else? Ethan, any other, in addition to Star Trek?
I wonder about video games.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Is it Pong? Do you start with Pong?
When I was a kid, I got a video game console from a garage sale that only played a Pong-like game where you moved a dial and a bar went back and forth across the screen and bounced a little ball. It's a ball in my head, but it was pixelated, so it was surely a square
Yeah.
that would break bricks. And that was the one player version. And the two-player version was you had two dials and you would move your sticks up and down and pass the quote unquote ball back and forth. And if you missed, you lost a point or whatever it was. So that was like super basic and really on Pong level. But the game that really introduced me to video gaming was probably either Miss Pac-Man or Galaga.
Yeah. Or not
So what's
not the combo arcade. Galaga Miss Pac-Man combo.
I didn't like that one because it had the buttons on the wrong side for Galaga.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so what's interesting is there's a difference between, I think, basic and foundational.
Okay.
Like you could have a complex or not necessarily easy to follow game, but one that is foundational. So like I would almost put Doom in the category of like not
Ooh.
necessarily accessible to everybody, but foundational to modern video games.
Yeah. Yeah, or even like what predated Doom for me that was the similar style was Castle Wolfenstein.
Mm.
Now, going back for a deeper comparison to Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 spoken commandments, the commandments are not just the 10, but all 613 are divided into what are known as positive commandments and negative commandments. Well, we would say the thou shalts and the thou shalt nots. Even in those top 10, you've got don't murder, don't steal, don't covet, and do practice Shabbat, do honor your parents. How do you think the 101 areas of nerddom are divided in like what are some do's and do nots?
I mean, I think you're asking what I would do.
Sure.
I think one of the absolute 101s has to be everyone is welcome.
Yes. I would hope that's true for every single nerd property, every nerd activity. I think that's the core of nerddom 101 is everyone is welcome. I love that.
I bring it
should
up
be.
because it should be, and it
Should.
is
be.
Should.
not at the moment, but it should be.
Yeah, I will say that the board game community is probably one of the nicest communities I've ever been a part of. However, there's tons of gatekeeping in the board game community. So it's welcoming, except like a great example. My wife and I for Valentine's Day went to a diner for 6 hours and just played board games. We brought a whole bag. I had made a reservation. They let us sit in a booth and just play for a whole lot. And the manager had come over when we sat down. He's like, "Hey, I couldn't help overhearing that you guys are just going to play board games. I'm a bit of a gamer myself. Have you guys heard of Catan?" And there's many people
Yeah.
who would have like shunned that response when we've got in our bag Chemical Overload and Azul Stained Glass of Sintra and Clank in Space, and like we had a lot of really big fun games. And I was like, oh man, yeah, love that. I love Catan. We don't have it with us, but like it's a great game, right? But there's a lot of people who, while that, like the guy was so warm and excited to talk to us because he knew we were going to play board games, and there's many people I think that would have gate kept him from saying that he was excited about Catan, but he hadn't heard of some of the ones that we were doing. Like,
Yeah. I've had that with Dungeons and Dragons. People have said to me, "Oh, you still play D&D when there are so many other great systems out there?"
Right.
And like, yeah, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I love it. Other do's and don'ts. You know, Barack, when we started this, your big area of expertise is always math in my head.
Oh, fascinating. Yeah, I love math. I wouldn't call myself an expert. I dabble. I
Don't you have a degree in it?
I do have a degree in mathematics. That's
I
true.
mean, you're more expert than I.
That's very funny. I'm like, "No, I don't really like math." Like, did you study it for 4 whole years and take every senior seminar class your college had to offer? Yeah, that's true. I did. I did do that. Yeah. So the do's and don'ts of math. Man, stop hating on it. It's in everything. Math is in everything we do. That I would say that. Go
I love
back,
it.
go back and listen to episode 9, I think it was, where we just talk about how mathematics is in everything. Yeah, don't hate on math. Don't say I hate math. Yeah, I think there's so many areas of nerddom that people just lie to themselves. Like everybody does math on a day to day, and so when everybody says, "Oh, I hate math. I'm not good at it." You are good at it. But for some reason society has made you think you're not good at it for whatever reason. I think it's similar. I think the biggest lie people tell themselves is that they don't like board games. And so I think that's another don't. Like there's so much of closing yourself off from something new that you don't understand. I'd say don't do that.
Yeah, that's like saying you don't like ice cream just because you tried vanilla and it wasn't your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Vanilla's my favorite.
It's the most popular flavor.
That's right. I would say try new things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
My friends are very good at giving me, finding a new cooperative video game that's a style I wouldn't necessarily play myself, but that I end up really enjoying
Oh, that's
most
great.
of the time. They do a pretty good job.
Yeah. I like finding hacks for the math that I have to do in life.
What does
Like,
that mean?
like I'll say to the robot that lives in my house, "Hey, how many tablespoons are there in a cup?" In case I'm making something in a large enough quantity that even though the recipe has a tablespoon measurement, in my head I feel like it's going to be more like a half cup or quarter of a cup. So I'll ask and use those instead. That way, I can save the tablespoons for when I'm making teaspoons bigger.
Now I'm curious because they're not the same exact measurement. How many tablespoons to cups?
There are
10
four
t-
tablespoons in a quarter of a cup.
yeah, 10 tablespoons is 0.625 cups. So about
4 tablespoons in a quarter of a cup.
okay. Great.
Because that's what my device told me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She did say about.
If I just wanted to mention it just because if I was listening to this, I would be like, I want to know how many 10 tablespoons would be in a cup. I would have stopped paying attention. So thank you for those listeners who just needed that information. You're welcome.
And if it's how many tablespoons in a cup, it would be 16.
Great. Yeah.
I can math.
There you go. Yeah, 10 is just less than 2/3.
Going back to the Ten Commandments one more time.
Yeah.
We often see them split in two. The first five written on one tablet, the second five written on another tablet. And there are all kinds of midrashim that suggest why that division is there. The one I happen to like is that the first five commandments, from "I am Adonai your God" through and including "honor your parents," are really about the relationship between the human and the divine, the human and our creator, if we want to get a little more hitting the nail on the head when it comes to honoring our parents. Whereas the second set of five deal with a human to another human. So they're mostly things you don't do. In fact, I think the second set of tablet is all things you don't do. You don't murder, you don't commit adultery, you don't steal, you don't bear false witness, and you don't covet. So the basics of dealing with another person seems to be what not to do.
Is there, I don't know enough about this.
Okay.
Is there, where we've mentioned the 101s, and then slightly, sometimes we said those are really 201. Out of the 613 commandments, these are the 10 101.
Yeah.
What falls under 201?
That's a great question.
Interesting.
I think it's what comes next. Because almost immediately after these commandments are spoken, there are instructions about not making molten gods out of silver and gold and making an altar for God and making the altar without steps so that your tunic doesn't flip up and people are focused on something besides the sacrifice. And that's the end of that particular parasha. It's called Parasha Yitro. And a parasha for Jason is a section of the Torah that is read weekly. The very next parasha, the very next section of Torah is called Mishpatim, which means rules. And it gives you all of these rules that are slightly more advanced. And it's basically you go from covenantal law of the Torah to Mishpatim, which is tort law. How to handle other people, how to handle their property, how to handle your own property, how to handle disputes between and among people, and you know what to do in your courts, and those kind of things are all related. And it ends with, and these are the holidays you're going to celebrate throughout the year, including Shabbat.
That's a lot of part two. If I
Yeah,
had
the
to,
201 level is deep.
I guess. If you had to pick 11 through 15, what do you think you'd include?
Oh boy.
Whew.
I can tell you, I have no idea.
Oh, nothing.
I tell you what, one of the 10 commandments, the honor your parents, which is phrased honor your father and your mother.
Yeah.
The end of that commandment is so that you may long endure on the land that Adonai your God is assigning you. There is one other law in the Torah that ends with so that you may long endure on the land that Adonai your God is assigning you. And that law is when you see a bird, chase her away before you collect the eggs or the young. Eggs or young could be
Okay.
interpretable. So there's this idea like don't make the mother suffer while you are collecting her eggs. But it's also ostensibly the single easiest commandment to do is to chase a bird away because when you approach a bird, unless it's a goose, it will run away.
Hmm.
But honoring your parents is arguably the most difficult commandment to fulfill because everything that a person does is a reflection of the people who raised that person. So we are constantly on guard to honor our parents and some would say also our teachers. And every word we utter has to be carefully weighed that it is in honor of those who taught us and those who raised us. Whereas all you have to do to chase a bird away is walk towards it.
Hmm.
So that idea of that you may long endure on the land that Adonai your God is giving you connects the hardest and the easiest. And therefore, I believe it's Rashi who says it therefore connects every single one of the other 611. That if the reward is you're going to endure long on the land that Adonai your God is giving you, if for the hardest and the easiest, it is an easy step to say that's the reward for all of them. So the 201 lesson is you do these because it's good to do, but also there is reward in doing them because they're good to do.
I'm going to throw out, I think I have my answer for 11 through 15.
Okay.
Here's what I would say. You said 1 through 5 was you to God.
Mm-hmm.
6 through 10 was you to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think 11 through 15 should be you to self.
Ooh, I like that.
I think the how you treat yourself and how you behave as a person, as an individual, who to whomever it might be, to the earth, to other people, to yourself. I think that is the core of 11 through 15.
And I'm willing to bet that no matter who's listening, and including the three of us, could all use the reminder, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's a lot in, I don't know their laws enough, but I'm just thinking about that concept of if you've taken care of your relationship with God and you've taken care of your relationship with other people, it's make sure you take care of your relationship with yourself, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. A philosopher called Yehuda Halevi
Yeah.
would have said that should come first. That he
Yeah.
talks about the concentric circles of living a good life, and it starts with self, then family, then community, then city, then world.
Yeah. Are there any nerd 101s we missed? I'm trying to think.
So
We
many.
we didn't do comics. I don't know where to start with comics.
Yeah,
Listeners will definitely tell us about the things that we missed.
I
Yeah.
if I had to suggest 101s of comics, I would suggest some early Spider-Man.
Mm,
And really, like, Marvel holds a lot of good 101 comics. DC very often has very deep stories with a lot of reading. So people, when they open up a comic book, they might be like, I didn't expect to read this much. So the DC would be 201. And depending on the age of the reader, I might even suggest Deadpool, which is basically just rated R Spider-Man.
yeah. I don't know if I'd tell them to go all the way back to original Spider-Man. Only because most of original Spider-Man villains were like, money and power. Give me the money and the power, Spider-Man.
Okay.
So many of them.
Uh,
So many of them were
But
just
isn't that basic? Isn't
yeah,
that 101?
yeah, I guess. Sure. There's just again, it feels like those are classics, and there's probably contemporary versions that are better and more enjoyable.
That's fair.
Yeah.
There are some X-Men comics as well that are basically perfect parallels for classic literature, like the Iliad
Yeah.
or the Odyssey or something like that. Both of which I know exist in X-Men comics, neither of which I could tell you exactly where.
Mhm. Did we list like 10 different nerd facts like to pair with the 10 commandments?
I mean,
We
you
listed
listed
10?
way more than 10 board games.
No, I mean like factions of nerddom.
Probably not, but that's okay
Yeah.
because this is just an entry. This is the basics.
Yeah.
And I would say that, if you really want to get an entry level, if you're listening to this 101st episode and you want to get an entry level into Tor Smash, start with episode 3, then go back to 2 and 1, then from 4 forwards. Which is also what a friend of mine says for watching Star Wars. Rabbi Drew Kaplan from Cincinnati says, watch episode 4 and 5. Get the reveal that Vader is Luke's father. Then,
Whoa.
yes,
Come
spoiler alert,
on.
1982.
Yeah.
Get the reveal and then watch 1, 2, 3 as a flashback. If you're going to watch them, I would say you don't have to. And then watch 6 through 9 so that you get that 4 and 5, that classic reveal. That watching my children watch that for the first time was so much fun.
Yeah. I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
does that spoil that Luke and Leia are twins?
It is a spoil to say Luke and Leia are twins. Oh, does that? No, it doesn't do it until
It does in
until
episode
Jedi.
correct.
3.
So you get it in 3.
You get it in 3. Yep. Is it in Empire where I think it is. It's in Empire where Yoda says
There is another.
there is another, yeah, in response to Obi-Wan saying that boy was our last hope.
Yes.
In the previous movie, he was a new hope, and in the second movie, he's our last hope.
Yeah.
Well, friends, this has been fun.
That was fun. That was
I
an
enjoyed this
interesting-
immensely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And I hope I did you proud in my attempt at Ethan 101.
Oh, I think it's one of the reasons I loved this. This was very, very high level, very enjoyable.
That'll do it for this episode of Torah Smash. Our fiscal sponsor is Jewish Creativity International. Our theme music was created by Sean Fogel. You can check out Sean's bands and studio work at www.thesleepywest.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to rate and review us wherever you listen. It helps others find us and is an excellent way to support the podcast. We do want to hear from you and continue today's nerdy discussion. Go to TorahSmash.com to find where to connect with us online, purchase swag from our store, support us with a donation, find previous episodes, and more. And how do you know Moses was ahead of his time? He was the first to download from the cloud to a tablet.
So
you're very snarfy today.
I know. I'm trying, man.
So just hey, man, you're
I will. I
editing,
will. I
you're
will edit
editing
this one. I
but
will edit this one. Snarf. Snarf.
snarf. Barack, when we started this, your big area of expertise is dentistry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Amazing. That's a good one. I'll give a clap to that one.
Hey, it looks like we have a special guest host. What's your name, special guest host?
Nadav
Nadav what?
Nadav.
Malkin. That's my full name.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
What's
Amazing.
do you know your social security number?
I don't have one.
Oh, I think you do.
You do.
I think
You
you
tell
do.
Oh.
You'll
Can
learn
you
it.
tell
You'll
that-
learn it
what-
when you need your driver's license.
Do you have a joke to tell?
Oh yeah.
I have two.
Okay.
Go
Are you going to tell us?
Actually, three.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Start with your second best and end with your best.
So
Okay,
I'll start with the worst.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
Why?
To get to the other side.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Classic.
Okay.
Good one.
Not bad.
What does a ghost put in cereal?
Oh, this I
What?
don't know.
What does the ghost put in cereal?
Bananas and blueberries.
Oh, yep. Okay. Okay.
Bananas.
Here's the boo at the start.
Yep. Yep.
The explanation is funnier
good.
than the joke.
It's good when you explain it. Mhm.
Yep. Love it. Okay. Joke number 3. We're ready.
What do ghosts put in bagels? Scream cheese.
Oh, so good.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
And what do ghosts use to protect? What do ghosts use to stop them from getting a sunburn?
What?
Sunscreen.
Mm.
Time Smash!
Yay!
You should go up to bed. Say Lila Tov.
Hot dog.
Lila Tov.
Good night.
Thanks, buddy.